Since 1985, students in more than 5,000 schools nationwide have discovered the difference that the Science Olympiad has made to their science education.
Our purpose of creating Science Olympiad is to demonstrate that science can be really fun and exciting as well as challenging. We had noticed that science educators and government officials had started to observe that there was a declining enrollment in science classes and a declining number of students graduating in science careers in science and engineering. So we knew that science is fun and we had a passion for science. So we created a series of activities much like the Olympic Games, much like a track meet, much like athletic games that were evolved into a tournament that demonstrated to kids and students and their parents and the community at large that science was fun and exciting as well as challenging.
Science Olympiad allows the kids that want to think outside the box, that want to challenge themselves, that want to do more. It gives them the opportunity to do that.
Before Science Olympiad, I kind of viewed science class as just another class to study and to take tests for and to never see again. But after I participated in Science Olympiad, I learned how much science plays a part in our lives and what it can do.
After Science Olympiad, I really started thinking more about science as a career, something fun to do, and now I'm looking into going into engineering because of the building events I did.
It just made labs seem much more interesting, which made science seem more interesting. And like every single concept in science, it seems like there's an experiment with it that can compare it to from Science Olympiad.
I've always been interested in science, and this was true before Science Olympiad, during Science Olympiad, now after Science Olympiad. But the Science Olympiad itself gave me a place to put that interest to use. It's like instead of learning all of my life, I got to use what I've learned and do something with it.
My favorite event was Storm the Castle. In Storm the Castle, you build a catapult.
Scrambler is an event where you build a device to launch a car, and the car has an egg attached to the front. And the goal of the event is to try to get the egg as close to the wall as possible without breaking it.
My favorite event was definitely forensics, because in forensics, it's like a detective story and you solve little pieces of puzzles and you put it all together to solve one crime.
The mission of Science Olympiad is very much related to creating a passion for learning, and it's much like academic sports.
These kids have to work together, they have to learn together, and that is always a plus.
It is competitive. There is an atmosphere of I want to beat out the next person, but it's not to the point where you're worried about what the other person's going to do to you and you turn your back. It's still all smiles and haze and where are you from?
Everybody's sort of in it for the good of science. You're competing and having fun and learning new things.
So in many schools there are dozens of athletic coaches even for volleyball, basketball, and football, and we believe science and academics is equally as important in generating that kind of interest and enthusiasm for learning. So our belief was that if students saw how fun and exciting science was and that they could do the problem-solving aspects, that would turn them on to taking more classes in science and lead to more professional and technical careers.
Experimenting with all the chemistry and stuff, it helped me realize that I would like to pursue a medical-related field, probably dentistry, because of the chemistry involved in the interaction, which is exactly like what you did in Science Olympiad.
Science Olympiad is a very rewarding experience as a teacher. You get to know the students, you get to help them and see them grow academically, and on top of it, it is just a lot of fun.
My coach, Mrs. Mosel, she helped by providing materials and helping teach the more in-depth stuff. She provided time to work on projects, and she would help supervise and help us out with getting materials that we needed.
In science classes, you always do labs, And generally I used to always be pretty clumsy with labs, but Science Olympiad, you always practice the procedures over and over again, and I got really used to performing labs, and it came a lot easier, and I could perform them better.
I think these events can help the students as a whole, because they will see different careers. When they go to these events, they see all the different angles where their studies can take them. A lot of times if they're just looking in a book, it doesn't seem as real to them. It's when they actually do the experiments, do the projects, go to the university, actually get to talk to some of the professors while they're there. It gives them a chance to see the whole world of science.
We have a number of professionals, educators, and government officials and scientists that run and supervise the National Science Olympiad tournament events, and they observe that the level of understanding of the students, even at the middle school level, exceeds in many cases the level of understanding of their graduate students.
More students are signing up for science classes. For example, you would only have to take one science class, but many of our students take 2 every year. And I've got one student this year who's actually enrolled in 3 science classes.
I really recommend Science Olympiad for all high schools. It really helps to solidify things you learn in science, and it really helps get students interested.
If you want to give it a try, just get a few of your friends and start a team.
It's not just bookworms. They're studying and working and being competitive. They're real people. Not that bookworms aren't real people, but these people want to have fun. They want to joke around, meet people. They want to play, and they still want to compete over it all.
Hi. Every school district in the country having the same kind of enthusiasm and excitement for science and academics in the classroom. We have demonstrated at Science Olympiad, if you were to visit a national tournament, a regional tournament, or even a local tournament, that same kind of enthusiasm and excitement you see for sports, you can see by the community, by the students, and by the teachers for science and academics.